a new episode of Crush This Monster Truck Podcast. We want to thank High Acting Coffee, J Concepts, Justin Story, Back Channel Productions, 6B Apparel, and JB Scale Graphics. Joey Sylvester and High Acting Coffee. We want to thank those guys so much for doing these and whatnot. We'll see them during I assume during Thanksgiving and all that jazz, and we'll get some product and some giveaways going on here. JB Scale Graphics for all your RC needs. You have the rights to one half of the Bigfoot decals, USA 1 and Samson bodies, stuff like that. Brad's planning on picking up some stuff soon, so that'd be pretty cool. Back Channel Productions, go check out his stuff from Renegade to MTRL to the four-wheel jamboree, all just in stories. Take a look at his book, Making Tracks, $10 on Amazon. Also, his stories about Christmas and Halloween, his poems and stuff like that. That's $12 a pop on Amazon. $4 go to the proceeds of a military foundation. I think starting next year, he'll up the ante to $4 the donation. So go ahead and check that out. 6B Apparel, they do our track crew shirts, and take a look at that stuff. We got the old and the new wave. So message me and Brad if you're interested in taking a look at that. And JB Scale Graphics, officially licensed from the half of Bigfoot, Bad Habit, Overkill, Evolution, Heavy Hitter, Against the Grain, and much more. Also flags too. So go ahead and take a look at all that stuff. Once again, next week's guest will be Ryan Holman. He is the cousin of Corey Holman. Cody, my bad. And he has a brother named Josh, and uncle is the new Hall of Famer Bobby Holman. Also, congrats to the inductees to the 2021 International Monster Truck Hall of Fame. My boss is Tim Hall, Mark Hall, John Moore, the driver of the Knoll Power Monster Truck that was really popular in TNT and early Penna days. And also Mr. Bobby Holman has been driving for more than 30 plus years in his Beast Monster Truck from Dayton, Ohio. So want to congratulate all those folks that are inducted to the Hall of Fame. But outside of that, we have part of Team DCT Powersports. He's crew chief and also drives occasionally for Mr. Jerry Beck. And he will be after this little intro. So we'll get down to it. Thanks, guys.
This isn't your typical motorsports podcast. You're listening to Crush This, a monster truck podcast presented by High Octane Coffee and J Concepts. A show where we take you inside the minds of your favorite drivers, past and present, of the monster truck industry. And now, your hosts, Brad Shaw and Dan Chichagash. Buckle in. The show starts now.
All right, everybody.
Hey, there we go.
There we are. Still getting used to this new kind of intro format. So, welcome everybody to the episode. And like Dan said in the beginning, we have Chandler West with us. Chandler, how's it going tonight, man?
Good, very good. How you guys doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. So, let's start off from the beginning, as we always do. So, how did you get into the world of monster trucks? This kind of crazy sport that we're all in.
Oh, where do I start? So when I was little, I mean, obviously it starts out when you're a kid, you're, oh my God, that's a monster truck. My mom still swears to this day, first word was monster truck. So it took off from there. When I got into high school, I started helping out other teams when they'd come to me where I'm at in Michigan. So like Detroit, or they'd come to my county fair a lot. So I'd go and help them out, and whenever I could, message them, hey, you guys need help, And then I messaged a good friend of mine at the beginning, because I met him through one of the teams that I helped out, and I said, hey, I was just curious, like, could you get me like in the pits of Monster Jam? That's before I knew like there wasn't a pits area. It was more like the loading dock of the arena or stadium. Sorry. And I just like, hey, like, do you think you could get me back there just to, like, see what it's like, like see if it's any different? And he's like, yeah, sure. And then the next morning he sent me what is now my old boss today, Matt Pagliarulo's phone number. And Matt texted me the next day. He goes, you got black pants and a black shirt? And I'm like, yep. He goes, all right, we'll see you at 7:30 at the arena. I'm like, oh, okay. And that's where the volunteering kind of took off, and that's how it got me to where I'm at today. So, yep.
So prior to the Monster, you gained that step with Matt.
Mm-hmm.
You went to in a high school or those like automotive classes and
yep.
welding
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that beforehand.
Yes, so I actually attended NASCAR Technical Institute for about a year and a half. Got some training through them. I did NASCAR engines with a background in fab, so it's more fab engine based, and you did like the automotive stuff too, but that was like your extracurricular stuff. So I got a lot of training through that, and kind of more of the know-how and more of the basics through that.
So, you got Matt's number and he texted you to be at the arena.
Mm-hmm.
How was that experience? Did it kind of open your eyes to like, wait, this is a lot more different than I expected it to be?
Yes and no. Like, I've kind of seen some of the videos, or like beforehand I saw some of the videos of like backstage stuff, like them thrashing on a corner or thrashing on a transmission or a motor. So once I actually got to like live it, because I believe that show he actually blew a transmission. We didn't change it there. He actually loaded in the trailer and changed it at the shop. But yeah, after seeing that, I'm like, oh wow! Like, once I got that rush of like, let's thrash, let's get this done, let's get him back out there. Like, I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. this just set it in. So
you're doing all that stuff, and I always say when you're working on monster trucks, you're always learning all the time. Good, the bad, you're still learning about it.
Mm-hmm.
What was one of the important things that Matt and the team, because it seemed like, well, when you joined them, they were getting their stuff together, but they were also learning too, around the 2015-16 season kind of
Mm-hmm.
deal. So what did you majorly get out of learning from Matt and his team?
I learned a lot about fiberglass. The fun of fiberglass. Once I got the Kraken body, I mean, it was awesome being a part of that debut and whatnot. And like I said before, the Throttle Out show, like being part of their legacy of those two, like it was just cool. But once he rolled, man, we were doing fiberglass for a minute. So, but yeah, that's something I learned from that, is learning how to do fiberglass. It's the smell just sticks in the back of your head.
So with your getting your feet wet, with Team Tomfoolery and stuff, who are some of the other people kind of in the pits, kind of helping you learn, like, from the other teams? Were people like coming to you like, hey, maybe try doing this differently? Would people come up to you and give you advice?
Yeah, guys like Josh O, who's helping them out now once we did first quarter with them. Greg Winchenbach, like, while he was back there, he was kind of teaching us. Tim DeSantis, he teaches me all the time, still to this day. And of course, Jerry, I learned something new from him just about every week. So there's definitely a lot of influential guys that just like, hey, try this. Like, getting in trouble there. Like, try this before you get any deeper. So, but yeah.
Gotcha. So you got into that, and then how did you get connected with Jerry and the team out of Lafayette?
Just doing shows. I mean, we did Bristol with them a lot. A lot of the throwdown shows we'd see them at, and kind of talking to Jerry and Mullet at the time, and he was still driving. But that's just doing shows with him and whatnot.
Was that a hard thing to do? Kind of leave Matt and Jester and go to Team DCT. Was that kind of hard for you?
Yeah, I mean, being I got my start with them and whatnot, but this is a little closer to home because I'm originally from Michigan, so it's only about a 4-hour drive versus a 16-hour drive.
That's a lot nicer.
Yes, so but yeah, it where I got my start, I could see that.
So you started working for Jerry and stuff like that, and how do some people? A key ticket I always believe, and I finally got mine, was getting your CDL. Maybe it's cool to talk about that, man. How was your journey to gain that? Was it intimidating at first, or how was that?
It definitely was intimidating. I mean, you're basically driving a skyscraper, so to speak. Yeah. But I mean, I got a lot of experience with Matt, and then once I got to Jerry, Jerry actually threw me in a dump truck every once in a while. So backing up a semi dump, so to speak, got me a lot more in tune with backing up a 53 footer. So I can back it a little better at a Loves or a Pilot. So.
Going from a team, that has kind of more modern equipment to a team that has some older chassis. I think I saw on Facebook today, somebody saying that some of the chassis that you guys are running are like 20 years old, I think, right, Cheech?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they have new technology on those trucks, rather.
Yes,
but I'm talking about like the older chassis style is what I'm trying to mean. Like, what was it different for you to come to that team, or was it kind of very similar? Very similar.
It was still similar. I mean, monster trucks are monster trucks, but these chassis were built in like '94, I believe. So they're definitely old, but they're still good workhorses. I mean, they keep up with the best of them. We do shows with Jamie Gardner and some of the best equipment out there, and Jerry's still making Dirt Crew run just with him. So it's definitely a different change, but I mean, it's monster trucks.
Yeah. So with that though, they put a new building. The same when I worked for the team, it was always working at Jerry's house in his 2-bay garage. I think he moved it up to that. I always call Jerry's place like a college campus because you had the big building. Mm-hmm. Well, I think before I left, he was trying to convert it to the team house across the street in the 2-car garage was his like metal workshop and extra parts and stuff like that. And then you had to go across a little bit past, I think now the house that you live in, which was I think Aaron's old house.
Yep.
Was like a little bit of the fiberglass body shop deal, yep. And then you go down to the bottom of Jerry's house and it's a 2-bay garage. But having that building on the very top there, the bigger building now, when you started with Jerry, did you work down at the 2-car garage bay, or were you always at the bigger building?
So we did first quarter prep when I first got here. We did it in the 2-car garage, and only because it had heat. That's why. But it got to the point where like Jess is like, all I smell is methanol and spray paint. Like no more. So we did it in there for the heat part of it. But now we're primarily in the bigger shop, and it's to where we can pull a whole rig in and open all the doors and just unload from there. So yeah.
So let's talk about your chance to start getting to drive some of the trucks. Mm-hmm. How did that come about, and what was that experience like for you? Did you get to do a little bit of testing in a field or whatever beforehand, or were you kind of just thrown into it?
So we did a little testing. There was talk of me driving. This was probably about a year and a half ago. I was doing more crewing back then. And actually, it was like the first night I was here. They were actually testing at the Badlands, and Jerry was like, "You think you'll fit in my fire suit?" I'm like, "Maybe." He's like, "Go toss it on, see if it fits." And then we just did a little testing. I only did like 2 or 3 hits, but it was still like, oh wow, like it was definitely an eye opener for sure. But yeah, having Jerry in your ear when you're driving, I mean, it's definitely a learning experience because you can break stuff real easy, real hard. So it's definitely different.
So let's go to, I think, one of your first shows you ran at Sycamore Speedway over in northern Illinois near Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
How was that experience doing the throwdown show? Obviously, I think Jerry gave you the green light to drive that truck, but when you're inside the truck, so the experience is, if you're inside the truck and racing, do they have any feedback? Like, some drivers want to have feedback of the crew chief even telling them turn, or
mm-hmm.
turn, and this and that and this and that. And then the second question is also, when you're doing freestyle, do you pregame? I know everyone says, after the first or second hit, and then do whatever, because you lose what you're doing. Do you pregame a little bit, and then Jerry's on the mic afterwards, during the freestyle, saying, more momentum, or anything like that? Like, how does that scenario happen to you?
So
time driving?
During that show, I believe I was wearing my helmet, and I just wear like a motocross helmet. So I don't have communications in my helmet, but I do have. I was wearing Jerry's at one point, and I would have communications in his helmet. But before you racing, like I said, I don't have communication, so it's kind of like, okay, let's try this, see where it gets me. But for freestyle, definitely, it's kind of, you go walk the track with somebody who's done it before or done a track with that kind of style, and kind of go, okay, like this, maybe this jump could trip you up, don't hit this one as hard, or don't hit it as soft, or this car's pointed a little different, it could rock you different in the air, so be cautious of that. So it's a kind of more of a pep talk before the show, walking the track. So
and besides having Jerry in your ear and other people, who has helped you kind of figure certain things out with driving as well? Who are some of the drivers, like possibly like the Jim Kohlers, like who's helped you?
So definitely John Zimmer. We've been running a lot of shows with him, and Little Zimmer. That I get feedback from them all the time, and Tim Mazentis, like I said, Mullet. He definitely helped me out a lot. He was at one of the first or second shows that I did, and he was kind of coaching me a lot. So definitely those two, and Jerry for sure. So let's
mix it up a little bit. With you being a jester,
Mm-hmm.
jester, you do a lot of some of the Monster Jam shows. Now you're with the Jerry and them, and you do the toughest tours. And all I ever heard is positive feedback from the toughest tours.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the level of thrashing, do you think is the same between the two?
I would say so. Maybe not on a stadium level, but it's definitely still there, because the tracks that we do for toughest, there's a reason they call it toughest. You got to be tough to do those shows. I mean, they got cars, or one of the wheelie ramps is like, it's a wheelie ramp, and then there's like 2 cars, so it's like a wall. So you're driving up a wall. So yeah, it's definitely, I would definitely say it's on the same playing field for sure. We're in a smaller arena, but still same concept,
So now, a couple of months ago, and I know that you do Riggs Rods BeamNG a little bit, and I just kind of want to quickly touch on this a little bit. Mm-hmm. The setup that you're sitting in, we talked about it a little bit before, and a couple of months ago, you hit me up for a rear steer kind of button box that me and a friend kind of developed. Mm-hmm. So talk about your setup, because it's very interesting.
So during COVID, everything went to a halt. Nothing was going on. So I actually saw we had a containment seat sitting up in the rafters at the shop. And I asked Jerry, I'm like, what are you doing with that seat? He goes, I don't know. None of us fit in it. So I'm like, well, do you think I could use it for a simulator? He goes, build the frame and then we'll see. And then I built the frame. So I did it all out of just scrap pipe that we had. I built the frame. And then the one day I bolted it up to the frame because I had to take all my measurements off the seat. And I bolted it up to the frame, and he walked in and he goes, okay, that's pretty cool. I didn't even have computer or TV or any of the controls yet. And so I set it up and I made it to where like it's functional, so anybody can fit in it, tall, short, like me. So anybody can fit in it. The steering wheel is telescoping. I got my shifter to my right. The sequence is the same as a truck's, like whole 9 yards. So, yeah, it was definitely interesting. And then once we actually downloaded, I think we went with Beam first. Once we downloaded that and then made it to like it's like the first person view, we were like, okay, this is pretty sweet. So, yep, it was definitely a lot of fun.
So, do the guys come out to your place and run a little bit? Or
oh yeah,
does William hang out?
Yeah, well, he found the drag racing cars, so he does a lot of that. But yep, William comes over and runs it. Brandon Bud's jumped on it before. I mean, a couple of other guys have. So yeah, it definitely makes for a good Friday night.
Now we've asked a couple of the guys, like we've had Zimmer Jr. on and a couple other guys that have had rigs rods and BeamNG backgrounds, but with a setup like yours with your rear steer handle and everything, do you find that's kind of been able to help you kind of acclimate to driving? Because like I know you can't feel like what it's like to hit a jump, but does it help you driving wise at least figure out, okay, if I maybe do this differently in racing, it might translate to the truck?
Yes and no. I mean, it kind of gives you like an idea of what you're doing, but once you're strapped in a truck and you're tight and you're looking at cars, it's a totally different story. It's not you're sitting in the comfort of your home and you gotta, you're chilling after you just ate dinner. Like, no, it's totally different once you strap in a truck and you're like, oh wow, I'm strapped in a truck. So yeah, it definitely kind of the experience with this goes out the window once you're in the real thing. So
now I gotta let this know. Last couple shows, you let a pretty good Monster Jam driver behind the wheel of Dirt Crew, Mark McDonald.
Yes,
man, he's a riot. He's funny as hell.
Yes.
How was it having him on the team, and how did Jerry get contact? Was it through Jamie, or how did you guys get in contact with him?
I believe it was through Jamie. I don't know logistics or anything like that, but it was kind of like, hey, Mark's driving this week, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then he drove it, and he's like, wow. It's because he says all the time, like that's the first time he's driven a coilover truck. So it was definitely interesting. The first show. Because he almost, I told him, I'm like, no, next time you do that, you got to go for the full backflip, not the half. And he just started laughing. So it's definitely fun having him on and finish out the season with us. So it's definitely interesting.
Now, what truck is worse to fiberglass, Kraken or Quad Chaos? Surprisingly,
I mean, Quad Chaos is not that bad. It doesn't. No, knock on wood, it doesn't really wreck that much, but definitely Kraken. Kraken has a lot more contours.
How about Dirt Crew?
That's a different story. That involves a lot of welding. Normally the mounts just are done after a show, but definitely is a different story.
With also Mark driving, last week, I think, in Independence, I think you guys did pretty well, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mark won the first show. I think he won overall that first show. And then second show, I think he went to the finals with Too Tall in racing. And then third show, we were having some rear steer issues we were trying to battle that developed over the course of the first show. But once we figured those out, he was getting a little better, but it was still kind of there. But yeah, definitely did good the first show, and then once he battled Too Tall, that guy's a natural on a truck, so it was kind of hard watching them too, So
with being a crew guy, what are some of the challenges in a weekend that you face besides the thrashing? Because there might be, knock on wood, sure you guys don't have to do as much thrashing, but what are some of the challenges that you guys face? And this even goes to Dan as well. Because I've got to work on trucks a little bit. Like I've changed some 4-link bars and did oil change on a truck before. That's kind of what my experience is. But what are some of the challenges that you guys face at a show that most people wouldn't think about?
I'd say, driving there and back, that's not really a challenge, but it's part of the gig. But driving the rig there and back, and then maybe you break something big like a motor or a trans. You're going to be up till maybe 1:30 in the morning. Especially with our trucks and the cradles that are the design of the cradles, like it takes a while to change your transmission and quad. So but that would probably be it. Sleep. That's kind of scarce sometimes, but it's you sign up for it, so it comes with it.
Yeah, for us at Hall Brothers, we kind of we do a pre-event checklist. So we get the trucks out and we do basically a nut and bolt throughout the truck. Well, we fix the damages that are on the truck first, then we do a list. So we're going on our list and we say, okay, 4-link bars, behind, we found a hind broken. We'll repair that, and then we continue on to taking the oil filter out so Tim can take a look at those Hemis, and then put the oil filter back in, check the time, check the transmission fluid, stuff like that. We while we're doing the list, we go ahead and fix what we need to do, and and then we load the trucks in, head them out. We leave about maybe a few hours early, not a few hours, like a few hours earlier than we normally do, because I personally had the experience of a tire blowing out, heading to the track, heading back to the track, a whole system, the right rear of our trailer, the whole thing came out, the hub exploded, and we lost.
Wow.
And we were just dragging, even 2 o'clock in the morning, and we had to ratchet strat the axle up and headed to just a rest area, and then we got a spare on there, and one wheel was going on, and then we just tried to take it to a Love's again, another tire on. That happened to me and Curtis going to Corpus Christi, but I have blown a tire out on my the ride truck that I normally drive. I had to blow out one coming back from Florida, but like what Chandler said, then we have to prepare, like we always have on our toolbox, prepare for the worst and hope for the best, because it's just you just never know what happens. You can one guy, you're relying on so many people. And sometimes they miss something, like, for instance, maybe checking a third member, and there's some tooth fragments there in the third member that are, and then he goes out for wheelies and tears up the rear third member, or maybe, on, Monster Jam always, you remember, Chandler, those rubber pieces that go over the drive shaft, so they cover the vibrations. Well, sometimes some people may miss that, and there could be a twist, and before you know it, you're already breaking drive shafts, and there's so many things that happen that we're always considered, sometimes a monster truck crew guy is always the white rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. We're all over the place, and we don't know what time is. Time is not a vocabulary except for hurry up and wait,
right? Because you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know when.
The drivers are just chilling there, and it's like 5 minutes until showtime. Well, 5 minutes more to the showtime, and before you know, it's 20 minutes before showtime, and the drivers are just sitting there waiting, and you as a crew guy, you're just waiting also, and then they finally take off, and there's all sorts of problems. Like one time, I think it was 2015 in Anaheim, California. I was working. They were doing intros, and only 6 trucks came out during intros out of a 12 trucks field. Yeah, and you have been to Anaheim, right? That single tunnel.
I haven't been to Anaheim. Unfortunately, I haven't been to Anaheim.
Okay, they only have a single tunnel. Well, one of Dan Rodoni was driving the Patriot, and one of his crew guys forgot to fill in third member gear oil in the third member. No. Forgot about it, and the truck locked up.
Oh,
so
dear.
Now we got 6 trucks that took off into the arena. 6 trucks are now still back in the cold pits, chilling because of it's a mistake, but it's one of those deals, right. And you just gotta, it just it happens to be that way. But we all thrashed and got his truck back together, though. But like you said, it's just during shows, man, you just gotta.
We did it during first quarter last year. I mean, if I had a magnifying glass, I probably could have caught it. But we had a Heimfail on the front right of Dirt Crew, and it went through the Lexan. And I mean, like I said, I couldn't have caught that. Like if I had a magnifying glass, I maybe could have. But it was just like, oh wow, the Heim failed. So it's just stuff like that.
It's just. You never know when an input shaft in a transmission is going to go.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
You'll hear it.
Yeah.
You'll definitely hear it.
I will say this, though. You guys are the unsung heroes of the business, making sure these trucks run and you guys bust your ass because I've seen, what you guys have done and, I've been able to do a little bit myself, but not to the extent of you guys. And I respect the hell out of you guys because you guys are doing it week in, week out, doing it nonstop on the road, staying up late, and you guys don't get enough credit that you guys deserve. So I thank you guys for doing that.
Oh, Brad, if you bust your butt, you can also get full facial hair.
Yes, definitely.
I'm the only one here without good facial hair, and I'm probably the only one here with gray hair too.
I probably got a few of them in here.
Yeah, me too. I found some red hair. I haven't found any gray hair. I'm like, one time I had a shower, I was like, how the hell did I get red hair? And I'm like, I had to take pictures with my parents.
Cheech is a new breed of panda now. He's a red panda as well.
I had to text message with my parents, and my dad's like, yeah, I'm like quarter Welsh. They have red. I'm like,
fair enough.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, man, it's trials, patiences and long nights, and we became pizza advocates. I know that for a fact.
Yes, yep. Yeah. Pizza and wings.
Harry likes his food.
Yes, yep. If we get trucks on chargers before the end of the night, we're going to get ice cream. So.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
There was one time. I was working for Jerry at the Indy Jamboree. And he's like, I'm going to win this freestyle. It's going to be time for ice cream. So he starts the truck up and he's like, time for ice cream. And he goes off and he won that Friday night freestyle at Indy. And he pulls the truck in and he's like, Joe and Cheech, look through it, take a look. Everything all right? Yeah. Time to go get us ice cream. And we went to get ice cream. And then the next day was a complete different scenario when Aaron was driving quad. And roll over Beethoven on but still the truck still head up. But still it was just funny because Jerry was like, he called it. He was like, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna get ice cream. Like, okay. And then he always tells me too, like we always like, working and stuff, and he just stops in the middle of the time and he goes, let's go to the Angry Asian. And I was like, okay. There's a Mongolian restaurant down the road in Lafayette, right next to Mad Max and next to the Nissan dealership there. And go ahead and eat some in there. And then he just randomly goes on the phone. He calls and he says, I need a seat. Okay. And we're just working again. He's like, what do you call? He's like, I went to Sushi Don. So we're going to get some sushi on Tuesday.
Yep.
And,
Half off Tuesday. Half off your order on Tuesdays.
Yep. Sushi Don.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, he does that.
since you guys mentioned pizza, this is a highly debated topic. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
No.
I'm the only one here that likes pineapple on pizza. What?
It's a fruit.
You also don't have facial hair, and you're from Canada.
What does me being from Canada have to do with it?
Hey, they call
You
it
like
Canadian
all the
bacon
weird
up there. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have had that. What is that? Poutine stuff. or
Poutine,
whatever?
yeah.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
had that here though, so it's not authentic, but I've had it.
See, if you want the
Speaking of
authentic
which, what's
stuff,
the word of the day, Brad?
oh, I didn't think about it. Oh no. Let's go with
Do a hockey
PF.
term. Hockey term.
Okay, hockey term. A Donnybrook. A Donnybrook, a Tilly means a fight in hockey terms. So if you ever watch the show Letterkenny, Riley and Jonesy, let's have a Donnybrook, let's have a Tilly. That means let's have a fight. Drop your gloves and let's brawl. So that's the word of the day.
Yep, you're 10-ply, bud.
Oh my goodness, I love that show.
That's a good show. That's fine.
Anyone has a chance. Where do they get to see Lenny Kenny?
Letterkenny in the States, it's on Hulu. Here in Canada, it's on Crave. If let's just say it's Trailer Park Boys, but kind of more rural. It's
Yes.
There's a show here in Canada that aired for a long time called Corner Gas. It's like small town Saskatchewan, small town Alberta kind of deal. Well, if you mix that show and Trailer Park Boys, you get Letterkenny. It's absurd, it's stupid, and they're having a spin-off show for the character Shorzy, which I am freaking excited about.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
isn't he played by a guy who plays another character in that show?
Yep, he's played by the main character Wayne, which is played by Jared Kiso. So that show is a riot. I can't wait to see what they do. And they started out with just doing online YouTube skits, and it just took off. So you never know if you're on YouTube doing something. You never know what'll happen. So go check the show, guys. You'll get the kind of terminology. But since we were kind of on food, one more thing that I want to ask: your favorite truck stops. Now I know in the States there's millions of different truck stops, Loves, all these names. What's your guys' preferred?
Time out. Before COVID or right now?
Let's go. Okay, before COVID and then now. So what's your guys' preferred truck stops to go to before COVID?
Anything that's 24 hours open.
Yeah, that's true. Iowa 80 and Iowa 80.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Before
like
and
that.
after.
Yeah. Iowa 80, and then also there's a few TAs I like going to. I like hitting up the Country Pride. Some of that.
Would Buc-ee's be
it's
considered?
around- What is
No,
it?
no room for trucks there. They don't have truck
Yeah.
parking.
No.
That's a shame.
If I need to stop for a quick stop, fill up, or just use the fuel aisle for a quick stop, rolling hot dogs at Love's.
Yeah. Yep.
Just take in and take off and go.
Rolling hot dogs and a
overnight.
Tums.
Yeah, rolling hot dogs at Tums.
Yeah.
79 cents cola pop over
Yep.
there in the cooler area. But and then if I need to stop by somewhere, if I need to do my reset, and I stop by like a Flying J's or something like that, I'll just maybe stop by a Denny's or the food court that's over there in the gas station. Make some good French toast sandwiches there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That and Country Pride.
There's definitely anytime we do a show that requires me to get on I-80, like Jerry will ask me like, hey, like, did you stop for fuel? Like, yeah. You stopped at I-80, didn't you? Maybe.
I've even heard of Iowa 80. I've even been to the place. Like it looks.
They have
like,
a nice buffet there.
Yeah.
I saw it, there's this YouTube guy, Ken Domick, who does food reviews. Well, he did a 24-hour challenge at Iowa 80.
Oh,
So
wow.
that I got to see it. That place looks like heaven.
Oh yeah, it's trucker's heaven for sure. You got Barber. You got. I think there's like a movie theater there or something. Like it's definitely the place. Yep, church. Definitely a place you want to stop for your 10-hour break.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I would normally go there just for the buffet, or they have a lot better choices of fast food things. They have like a Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, Wendy's, stuff like that, and they're convenient. They're convenient. They need more room, but I can't hate on them having a 1949 Power Wagon on the middle of their floor. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I never really pay attention to the food, but I'm like, where's the Chrome Shop? that's my area right there. We got our Kenworth, so we're like, yeah, let's put some Chrome on it.
Now another one that I like is owned by the same people of Iowa 80, but it's on 44 in Oklahoma, near Joplin, Missouri. The Joplin's truck stop. That's another cool one. They also own one somewhere in North Carolina too. We always stop by, like if we're going east on 70, we always stop by the Petro right outside of Richmond, Indiana.
Yep, been there
before the state line. We normally hit up there because the Petro, that iron skillet's always open. We're finding places now, but before COVID, man, not even worry. You go I'm going to Pennsylvania. We always hit up this truck stop called Breezewood, where it was like a bunch of places to eat, and then also they have a 24-hour open. They had like a Radio Shack in there, another like barber, but since since COVID hit, places like only open until like 7:00. Like we went to, there's these truck stops over in Montana called Town Pump gas stations, and they're kind of like semi-run by Pilot. And we go there, and like it's almost 7:00. It's around 6:44. We go to Subway, and Lee's like, "Oh, we can help you at Subway." And the manager comes over and says, "We're closed." We're like, "You're closed at 6:44?" And they're like, "Well, we close at 7, but we're closed." And we're like, so all of us went on our phones and went like to Subway.com and Power Pump and try to complain. So I like freaking. The only problem is like. Kurt got a free sandwich. I got like a $10 off coupon, which is like a free sandwich, and Nugent just got a $10 just got free drinks. But we only can go to a Tower Pump. We can't go to a Subway. So none of this worked out for us. So we just like whatever. We just spread the word of how much we hate. It's just like
Town Pumps.
See, one place that I wish that we had in Canada, I know it's not a truck stop, but I wish we had a Sheetz in Canada. Oh my gosh. Love me some Sheetz.
Sheetz are a Quick Trip. Those are pretty similar.
Yeah.
We definitely had a
Casey's.
Yep.
And I'm not afraid to say it. Sheetz is better than Wawa. I'm not afraid to say it.
I'm not in that debate because like I would rather have a Wawa hoagie than a Sheetz hoagie, but I would have some chicken tenders and fries from Sheetz are pretty good with boom boom sauce. But I wouldn't mind a $5 hoagie from Wawa.
Definitely better than a roller dog, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's true. But if I was living in Florida like I used to, I would pick a Publix over a Wawa.
Yes, for sure.
Brad's like, yeah, we're learning about.
See, I know about pub subs. I've never had one, but I heard they're supposed to be amazing.
Publix?
Yeah, I've heard about because I've watched a lot of YouTubers that are in Florida, and they always mention Publix and pub subs. I'm like, damn it, I wish I had one. Well, like it's funny, like here in Canada, we don't have a lot of the same places. Like my girlfriend was in North Carolina recently and brought me back some Polynesian sauce from Chick-fil-A. That Polynesian sauce, okay, people, just think about this. Polynesian sauce is the exact same as Arby's Red Ranch sauce. It's the exact same thing.
I've never had Polynesian sauce.
Like the sauce that they put on the sauce that they put on the red roast beef and cheddar. That red sauce is the exact same as Polynesian sauce. I swear to God, it tastes the exact same.
Are you talking about Arby's sauce, aren't you?
No, they call it Red Ranch.
Huh, interesting.
Arby's sauce is
I just
completely
go with
different.
Arby's sauce.
Yeah, let's go to.
Yeah, that is
Even though
Arby's sauce.
Even though there's Arby's at every Love's you can find.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get lucky and you're like, oh, there's a McDonald's. Sweet. So
There's a Love's right outside of Jacksonville, Illinois.
Mm.
And its food is Taco John's.
Yep, there's one here. I want to say it's like right outside of Wabash, Indiana. It's got Taco John too. I was like, that's different.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Always remember. And there's always a Denny's on a Flying J. I cannot see a Flying J without a Denny's.
mm-hmm.
Sometimes occasionally a IHOP.
Yeah.
And then a TA would normally have a Burger King or a Popeyes.
Or an American Pride.
American Pride, yeah, the country. Yep. Yeah, the Country Pride.
Country Pride, American Pride. Sorry.
See, for us here in
thing.
Canada, a lot of those places for us, like if it's like a Petro Canada, like Petro Pass, it has an A&W. That's the big one for us. It's A&W. Or like you're going through like Saskatchewan, like these little small towns, like hardly anybody in Saskatchewan. Oh, there's a Subway. It's like those are the main ones here in Canada, at least for truck stops and like little like off the wall places.
That's like here in America, you normally have a random Subway and a random Dollar General.
Yes. Oh my God, they're everywhere. Oh wow, they're everywhere.
It could be in the middle of BFG, and this Subway's open, and all around cornfields and seeds.
Yeah.
And then like 2 miles down the road is a Dollar General. Yeah,
there's a town back home, Ida, Michigan, where my girlfriend's from, but it's literally there's a bar, a liquor store, an ice cream place, a church, and a Dollar General. It's like in the middle of corn heaven. That's where it's at. Dollar General. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, buddy. Man. All right. Is there any social media people can follow you at?
I think I'm on Instagram, my handle or whatever you want to call it. It's CJames 4.0, and then obviously we'd put stuff on Dirt Crew and Quad Chaos and stuff all the time. So follow us there too. So, yep.
Nice.
And
anything
Cheech,
else,
what
Brad?
about? Just I'm gonna ask you, what about your social media, Cheech? I know we go over this every week, and you come up with some newfangled way for people to get a hold of you. So what do you got for us this week, my friend?
Scream as loud as you can, and hopefully I can hear you.
Okay. Cheech!
Right. You get any calls from any lowboy drivers lately?
Oh, yeah. I got something to tell you about this.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was just weird because I'm in the middle of the shop working and I get this call going, hey, I'm here to pick up Quad Chaos and Dirt Crew. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, yeah, this is the phone number that was given to me. And I'm like, why? What? No. I haven't been on that team since 2018. And he's like, oh, I didn't know. I was like, I didn't know either. And I was like, he's like, sorry about that. And I was like, I see the trucks right here. I'm just going to go over there. Okay. So I had to get a hold of you and Jerry, and I was like,
yeah. There's definitely a phone number mix-up there for sure. I was not part of that.
No. I was thinking to myself, how did I get in this mix? I haven't been on the team for a while. And,
right.
Couldn't tell. I could maybe believe, if the phone number still had Aaron Kane's number or Mullet's number, but me as a contact, I'm like, how the hell did I become a contact?
that used to happen.
I was trying to dodge that.
that used to happen to my parents all the time because when they moved, they had to get a new number, and their number used to be the number of an old business. So every single day they get a call. Hi, is this the Northwest Company? No, this is the Shaw residence. That happened all the time. It got annoying. So, but
No.
No. Okay. Is this the Krusty Krab? No, this is Patrick.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, but as far as social media, for me, guys, you can follow me at the Monster Truck Canucker on Facebook. It's just Bradley Shaw. You'll see a picture of me in my truck, and so that's how you can follow me. And
I guess you can follow me at Dan T. J. Gosh, and then on Facebook. Instagram, I think it's the same thing. I'm on Snapchat, Dan A. Gosh 10.
And also, don't forget about the Hall Brothers Classic, the RC event Dan is putting on at the Hall Brothers shop, along with a bit of an open house. You'll be able to see the Hall Brothers shop, all the trucks, get to hang out with Dan, do some RC racing. Dan, when is that event again?
November 20th. Doors open at 7:30 a.m. You're not that far away. You're about about hour and 45 minutes away from us there, Chandler.
I wish I still had my truck. I sold my truck. I'd come out there and run with you guys.
Zimmer and Zach's going to be there, and maybe a few people from the good old Paxton area. What's going on? May stop on up. So, and Mark Pearson from Reptoid is probably going to try to step up, come on up too. So, open invites, open house. It's invited to everyone. So it's to be pretty cool. And also follow our podcast on Crush This on Facebook and on YouTube. And also we have this episode going to be coming up on iTunes and Spotify. So go ahead and take a look at that stuff too. Thank you for the 5-star likes and reviews on iTunes. And also, I don't know what award we get for Spotify, but thanks. And
the subscriptions on YouTube
like
to our channel as well. Because thank you guys for that as well, and all the support you guys give us. And we have a special video to play us out today that Dan handpicked. So we'll get to that in a second. So guys, next week is Ryan Holman. Thank you guys so much.
Outro.
It's our outro. This is gonna be our new outro. I'm still gonna say what I always say, but guys, always keep the rubber side down, the shiny side up, everybody. Peace. Oh, what happened?